Buckle up because the movie you are about to experience will make you suffer as Sam suffers in the movie. The story begins with Sam Cahill, who is a Marine captain fully committed to his family and military career. He's the kind of man who seems to have it all together. A devoted husband to Grace and a loving father to their two daughters, Isabel and Maggie. Their life at home feels steady and warm, with Grace managing the day-to-day challenges of raising the girls while also being the rock that supports Sam's demanding career. As the movie begins, Sam is preparing for another tour in Afghanistan. He knows it'll be tough being away from his family again, but he feels it's his duty to serve. Grace, however, hides her growing anxiety. She's been through this before, but the fear of losing him always lingers. Their daughters are deeply connected to Sam. Isabel, the older one, sees her father as a hero, while little Maggie clings to him with the pure, innocent love only a young child can give. Meanwhile, things are less perfect for Tommy, Sam's younger brother. He's just been released from prison after serving time for armed robbery. Tommy's life has been anything but smooth. He's always been the black sheep of the family, making bad choices that got him into trouble. Their father, Hank, a retired Marine himself, has no problem showing his favoritism towards Sam. In Hank's eyes, Sam is the golden boy, the one who did everything right, while Tommy is nothing but a screw-up. Hank's constant criticism weighs heavy on Tommy, who can't help but feel like he's living under his older brother's shadow, never able to measure up. Their strained relationship adds another layer of tension to the family dynamic. With Sam leaving for Afghanistan, life at home shifts dramatically. Grace does her best to keep things running smoothly for the girls, but there's no denying that their household feels emptier without Sam. At first, Tommy slips back into his usual routine, detached and aimless. But something stirs inside him. He starts to feel the void Sam left behind, and, for the first time in a long while, he wants to step up. It's clumsy at first. His attempts to help Grace are awkward, and she's understandably skeptical. After all, Tommy's never been the reliable type. But she slowly begins to let him in, if only because the girls seem to enjoy his presence, and she could use the support. Just as life begins to adjust to this new normal, the family is hit with devastating news. Sam's helicopter crashes during a mission in Afghanistan, and the military reports him as dead. The news is a crushing blow. Grace is left in a state of numb disbelief, struggling to come to terms with the loss of her husband while trying to keep it together for her daughters. Isabel, who's old enough to understand what death means, retreats emotionally, while Maggie, too young to grasp the situation fully, keeps asking when her daddy will come home. Grace's world feels like it's falling apart, and no matter how hard she tries, she can't seem to find solid ground. During this dark period, Tommy begins to step up in ways no one expected. He starts spending more time with Grace and the girls, doing whatever he can to fill the massive hole Sam's death left in their lives. It's small gestures at first, fixing things around the house, playing with the kids, and just being there. But these little things start to matter. One day, he takes the girls ice skating, something that brings genuine joy back into their lives, even if only for a moment. Slowly but surely, Tommy earns their trust, showing a side of himself that no one, not even he, knew existed. As Grace and Tommy navigate their shared grief, a connection begins to grow between them. They both lost someone deeply important to them, and that shared pain creates an unexpected bond. One night, after putting the girls to bed, they sit together, exhausted yet comforted by each other's company. In a brief, vulnerable moment, they kiss. If you've made it this far, I know you love gripping stories like this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It'll make my day and keep us diving into more heart-wrenching stories like that. It's tentative and fleeting, but it carries the weight of all their suppressed emotions, loneliness, guilt, and an aching need for comfort. Realizing what just happened, they quickly pull back, agreeing that nothing more can happen between them. They both know that Sam's memory deserves their respect, and they choose to focus on the children instead. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, the truth about Sam's fate is revealed. He's alive. He and a young private named Joe Willis were captured by insurgents and have been enduring hellish conditions in captivity. Every day is a nightmare of beatings, starvation, and psychological torture. Sam holds on to thoughts of his family, desperately clinging to the hope that he'll make it back to them. But as time drags on, hope becomes harder to find. Joe, much younger and less experienced, looks up to Sam for strength. But even Sam's resolve begins to crack under the relentless pressure. Then comes the breaking point. The captors present Sam with a horrifying choice. Either kill Joe, or they'll both be executed. It's a decision no man should ever have to make, and Sam finds himself trapped in a moral nightmare. In a moment of utter despair, he does the unthinkable. He strangles Joe with his bare hands. The act leaves him emotionally shattered, a broken shell of the man he once was. It's a moment that marks the death of Sam's former self, consumed by guilt and self-loathing. Months later, Sam is rescued and brought back home. His return is a shock to everyone: Grace, Tommy, and the girls. They're overjoyed to see him alive, but it quickly becomes clear that the man who returned isn't the same man who left. Sam is distant and emotionally detached, haunted by the trauma of his captivity and the terrible thing he was forced to do. Grace welcomes him with open arms, hoping to pick up where they left off, but Sam's silence and coldness keep her at arm's length. As time goes on, the family's joy at Sam's return is overshadowed by the challenges of reintegration. Sam becomes increasingly paranoid, especially toward Tommy. He notices the little changes around the house, the renovated kitchen, the girls' closeness with Tommy, and his mind spirals into dark places. Even though Grace insists that nothing happened between her and Tommy, Sam can't shake the feeling of betrayal. His jealousy eats away at him, creating a rift between him and the people who love him most. The tension reaches a boiling point one night at dinner. Isabel, frustrated by her father's erratic behavior, explodes in an emotional outburst. She accuses Grace of loving Tommy more than Sam. She even says that Uncle Tom and Mommy kisses all the time. Now who could have managed that trauma? Sam, who was already going through a lot, gone mad after hearing this, her words cutting like a knife through the fragile peace in the room. The outburst exposes the deep cracks in the family, leaving Sam even more unmoored. His mental state continues to deteriorate as he battles insomnia and nightmares, pushing away everyone who tries to help him. Unable to contain his paranoia any longer, Sam finally confronts Grace and Tommy. He accuses them of having an affair, despite their repeated denials. The confrontation escalates into a violent outburst, with Sam destroying the kitchen in a fit of rage, smashing cabinets and dishes while his family looks on in terror. Tommy tries to intervene, but Sam pulls a gun on him, teetering on the edge of complete breakdown. The police arrive just in time to defuse the situation. Sam, holding the gun, stands on the brink of despair, seemingly ready to end it all. But in a fleeting moment of clarity, he lowers the weapon and surrenders, allowing himself to be taken into custody for psychiatric evaluation. In the aftermath, Grace visits Sam at the psychiatric facility, determined to find a way back to the man she once knew. In a rare moment of honesty, Sam finally opens up about his time in captivity. He confesses to killing Joe, the weight of his guilt pouring out in waves. Grace listens, heartbroken but relieved that he's finally beginning to confront his demons. The movie ends on a cautious note of hope. The road ahead will be difficult, but there's a sense that healing is possible. Sam knows it will take time to rebuild his relationships with Grace and his daughters, but he's ready to try. Tommy, too, has grown through the experience, determined to be a better man. With Grace's unwavering support and his family waiting for him, Sam begins the slow journey back to the life he once had. The family stands at the edge of a new beginning, united by their struggles and hopeful for the future.